Hi guys, today we're going to be testing out the Wildflower collection from Lethal Cosmetics, and I'm excited because I saw this palette at first when they were sneak peeking it, and I was like, that's a pretty palette, but I don't know if it's going to become my favorite. This was when they asked if I wanted to receive it in PR, but I also saw the potential in it. But now that I have it in my hands and I've looked at this quite a bit, and I'm seeing so many more things that I want to do with this than I originally did. So I was planning on doing a one look video with this, just like a first impression, because I have a lot going on right now. But honestly, I'm going to do 2 looks because this inspires me a lot and I really want to play with this. So yeah, that's basically what we're going to do. I'm kind of in a hurry today, so I can't spend way too long on this. They also sent me a blush. They do have other blush colors that have come out in the same range. This is their shimmery blush formula. I decided that I only wanted one of them. I didn't need the whole range. Same with the lip product. I have the lip product in the shade Lyra. We're going to be using this one today, as well as the blush in the shade Carnation. So we're just going to go ahead and dig in because, like I said, I'm kind of in a hurry. I have to leave in like an hour. So we're going to start with the blush here. I'm going to just kind of swirl. Okay, so I keep forgetting like how powdery the blushes from Lethal are. So I'm going to try to be a little bit careful with this. Oh, that is a pretty pink shade. Oh, that is really pretty. That's... Ooh, I like that a lot. Like, I like that so much more than I thought I would. Because sometimes with pink blushes, like if they're too white based, they don't look that good on me, but I feel like this one has enough just like pink in it to not be too white based. So I really like the color of that. That is beautiful, and it's not as pigmented as some of their other blushes. I find Lethal to have a very pigmented blush formula, and it keeps me from wanting to use them too much because I find them honestly to be a little too pigmented and just hard to blend out. But this one is possibly my new favorite pink blush. I shouldn't say that because the Pat McGrath one is really tough to beat, but I really, really like the look of this. I think this is beautiful. And it has like a subtle sheen to it. It's not so much that it's like dewy on the face, which I really like that because I'm not the biggest fan of like dewy products or anything that looks like too shimmery on the cheek, but that looks beautiful. And I think once I go in with a highlighter, let me just do that right now. I'm just going to use the pink shade from the Noctilucent palette from Blend Bunny. Also, I do have a code with Lethal. It's just Annette, and it will save you 10% off. It's not affiliated, but it will help you save some money. Also, this brush is from Lethal. This is the 125 highlighting brush. I really like this brush. I didn't think I would like it as much as I did because normally I'm not the biggest fan of fan brushes, but this one is really nice. It's like really small and precise. I feel like I get a really good application with it. Now, I'm going to put on the lip product. I'm just going to line with my BFF lip liner from ColourPop. And I'm going to see if I can get a bit of a sheer application with this. I don't really want like a super opaque lip. So this was the shade Lyra, like I said. I think this was the lightest shade out of the ones they came out with this time. I'm not really sure. Okay, that is actually not as crazy as I thought it would be. Wow, what a beautiful color. That is really pretty. It's very, very lightweight. I'm wondering if, I don't know if I have any in this formula from Lethal from before. That is so pretty. This has a very velvety feel to it. It's very thin, super comfortable. I do feel like it's going to probably dry down a little bit, so we're going to keep an eye on that and see how it wears. But so far, that is so pretty. Okay, let's move on to the eyes. I'm going to try to do something pretty simple today, but that is another reason I wanted to do 2 looks, just to make sure that I'm able to test out this palette. Now, I usually like Lethal's formula. I've said many times that I think they have a really nice formula. It's not my favorite, but I feel like with every palette, their formula keeps getting better. And the shimmers in this palette, I already swatched them, and I should probably mention that pretty much all of the shimmers in this palette came shattered for me, but I was easily able to press them back in, and I don't mind when a shimmer comes broken. I mean, it's really not that hard to fix. I just use a paper towel and something that's really heavy, and I press it down, and usually it's fine, or I just use my finger and like really press it back in. It's mostly when a matte comes broken, I don't know how to fix it, and I don't care to learn how to fix it because it's too much work. Like, I have too much eyeshadows to worry about that. So we're just gonna go ahead and test this out and see. I mostly want this to just be a purple look because I have purple on my shirt today, and I'm wearing purple sweatpants because I'm lazy. So I think mostly what I want to do is I'm wondering if this shade is going to be a little too dark to pair with this, but I'm thinking sort of a neutrally purpley crease with like maybe the blue on my lid could be fun. These shimmers are so beautiful. Like I'm really excited to test these out. So I think I'm gonna use this as my transition shade and just see what that looks like. I don't want like too much in my crease, but I want a little bit, and I mostly want like the color to be in the outer corner of my eye. Okay, so this is doing exactly what I wanted to do. It's not too dark, but it just adds a little bit of shadow in my crease. Yeah, I think this is a perfect kind of cool tone transition shade for my skin tone. Now, obviously, if you're darker, this might not show up for you, but for me, this is looking really nice. Also, this palette just restocked when I'm filming this. I did get this package very, very late. I feel like so many people already had their videos up, and I got this palette like 2 weeks after everybody else, so I don't know what was up with that, but I mean, I'm just grateful that I have it, but I'm still a little bit confused why mine came so late, because it's not like I live in a different country, you know? So I'm next gonna take this shade, which is such a pretty purpley, periwinkly shade, but definitely leaning more purple than blue. And I'm gonna use that in the outer corner of my eye. I'll see if I wanna go in. Yeah, I might wanna deepen this up. This is not as dark as I kind of wanted, but I still think that I could leave it like this depth-wise, but I think I want just a little bit more depth. But I'm just going to kind of put this down and see how it ends up looking, just how it blends into that transition shade as well. It is getting a little bit muddy with these two colors, which I kind of expected, but I do want this to be more of a like a grungy purpley look rather than a very bright purpley look, if that makes sense. But this shade is performing really well. It's a really pretty color. And of course, if you didn't use that kind of brown transition shade, this would show up a little bit brighter, but I wanted it to be more of a, like I said, a grungy purpley look. I'm gonna use this shade under my eye as well, and then we'll do one of the deeper shades just to add a little bit more depth to this look. And I think I want to use the purple up in the corner. This is a really pretty purple. Just gonna put that over where I put down the other purple. We'll see how these layer. I'm not expecting this to be like the most layerable, because I am layering this over like 3 other shadows and it is a purple. So I just want to get a little bit more depth here. And I mean, this is laying very nicely on the eye. I have absolutely no complaints, and I feel like that is doing what I want it to do. Just taking a little bit more of that transition shade and just making sure that I get a good blend between the two colors. Just putting on some of my NYX glitter primer, and then I think I want to do 2 shimmers on the lid. And I want to start with a blue shade because this one looks so stunning. And I'm pretty sure that all of these are like that kind of sheer duochrome type formula, which I absolutely love. Oh, that is so pretty. Oh, I really like that. That is beautiful. Like, I feel like these shimmers from Lethal are some of my favorites that they've ever done. So it really is a shame that they came broken for so many people. I know it didn't just happen to me. I saw a lot of my creator friends post about that as well on Instagram. I haven't watched anybody's YouTube videos, but I have seen this being an issue, which makes me really sad because this formula is so nice that I hope they're able to kind of fix it and still keep the formula almost the way it is, just maybe a little bit harder pressed, or I don't know what needs to be done, but I really want them to keep the shimmer formula because I love it. So I think for the front, I want to use the green, but let me just kind of swatch it first. Yeah, that has enough blue in it that I think these are going to look really nice together. So I'm just going to pick that up on the same brush. This is the Singe 01 brush. I'm just going to use that in the front portion of my lid, so you really cannot see that much of the green. That is so interesting. Like in the pan, it looks green, and on the eye, it kind of looks purple. Huh, so interesting. That is a cool color. Like, I feel like this color would be better used on its own, because now layering it next to that blue, they look kind of similar. But I feel like if I pull out the mirror and I try to show the shift, you're gonna be able to see it a little bit better. Can we see any of the green? I don't really see any green in there. I feel like this is the kind of shade that depending on like what you pair it with and what you put it next to is gonna look quite different. But right now, these are looking very similar on the eyes, which I'm kind of like, huh, that's interesting. Not at all what I was expecting, but I mean, I'm not mad at it. I still think it looks really nice. I think just for like the final touch, I'm gonna use, what am I gonna use? That's pretty. I mean, all of these are just so pretty. That's maybe a little light for what I want. I'm gonna use a little bit of this shade right here, just underneath my eye. Just gonna spray this a little bit with some Fix Plus and just put that right here. Just putting some of this in the inner corner as well, and I'm just gonna go ahead and finish up with this look. All right, so this is the final look. Excuse my lash glue is probably still drying and might look white in some spots, but I used the Colourpop eyeliner in Prance in my waterline, and I used a little bit of the Noctilucent palette on my brow bone. I used the blue shade, and that's basically how I finish up. I love this look. The lip product has definitely dried down to a transfer-proof finish, so we'll see how it wears. If I knew that, I probably would have put some kind of a lip balm or something underneath to make sure it's not too drying, because like super matte lip products don't tend to wear the best on me, but we're just gonna have to see. I think the color is beautiful. I really like this look. I love the shimmers on the lid. I like how everything performed, so I'm excited to do another look. So let's just jump into look number 2. So let's go ahead and start the second look. I went to film this like 45 minutes ago and then turn on the camera and my camera battery was flashing. So I don't have a lot of battery on. I don't have a lot of battery on my battery. I don't have a lot of, what am I trying to say? You know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I don't have a lot of time because I charge my battery for like 45 minutes. So I gotta be kind of quick. I am wearing the lipstick again today, and I have been wearing this for the past hour or so. So I thought I would just give you an update. I did have a cup of coffee while I was waiting for my battery to charge. So I would say I really actually like this lipstick formula. It is quite comfortable. It's probably one of the most comfortable like matte liquid lipsticks that I have ever tried, even though matte liquid lipsticks aren't really my thing, but I kind of like this. I do feel like I need to kind of hydrate my lips a little bit before I put this on, so I did put on some lip balm just before I put this on because I knew I was going to be wearing this, but it wears really nicely and it wears off nicely as well. So I don't really have any complaints. It's just that liquid lipsticks aren't really my favorites. So let's see what I can do for like a quick look today. I'm thinking I definitely want to use some of the shades I didn't use last time. So maybe like some of the purple shimmers would look nice. The only mattes I haven't used are these two. I'm not sure how well those are going to go together though. Like that's kind of my, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with this. I do want to try this shade because it is like the darkest shade in the palette that I haven't really used. So I feel like those two colors would go nicely together, and I didn't use this a ton in my other look. So maybe we'll do these two in the crease and kind of skip this one because it's a very light shade anyway and not one that is gonna like make or break this palette. I'm sure it's totally fine. So I'm gonna start with this shade, which is that beautiful Periwinkle. And I really want to give this its own moment here and use it as my crease shade. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use that as my transition shade, and we can deepen it up with the dark blue and see how that turns out. I really like the color of this. I think this is so pretty. So I'm not gonna do anything fancy with this look. I really just want to get a look done before my camera battery dies. While still, you know, testing out the formula and the palette for you guys. I think I'm gonna try to keep this more of like a round shape, which I don't usually do. I tend to like to wing up my looks, but just to do something a little bit different, I'm gonna try to keep this more on the round side. This is such a pretty color. I'm gonna take this color underneath my eye as well and probably use this as the only shade under my eye. I don't know if I want like my lower lash line to be super deep today. Yeah, me saying I'm gonna do more of a rounded shape, I feel like it's just my eye don't want to do that. Like on the outer corner here, it just does not, round is just not a shape that works for my eyes. I feel like I just need to kind of, I just can't help it. I'm sorry, it's just, that's what my eye shape is telling me to do. Just wing it out a little bit, just a little bit. Okay, we're gonna go in with the dark shade. What brush do I want to use? Let's use a Blend Bunny brush. This is the B2. So I'm gonna take the dark blue here, and we're gonna see how well this one layers and how it works with the periwinkle. I feel like those two colors are gonna look nice together here. So I'm just packing on the color in the outer corner of my eye before I start to blend them together. Yeah, these are behaving very nicely together. I don't know if I necessarily like this color combo though. Nothing against the colors themselves. I don't know how I feel about those two. I feel like they're just, I don't know, just very different like tone-wise. But I do think that once the look is done, it's all going to kind of make sense and come together. But these two colors together, I'm not sure. Just going in with the first brush that I used just to make sure that I get a good blend between these two. And I think that's all I want to do for like my crease colors here. I think I just want to do some shimmers on the lid. And I think I just want to use a couple that I haven't used yet. So I'm first going to put on some glitter primer like I always do. So I'll do one on my lid and then one underneath my eye. I think I'm gonna do probably this one on my lid. It makes the most sense to me with the crease shades that I have. So I'm gonna pick that up on my cinch brush. This is the E04, and I'm pretty much probably just going to put this all over my lid and blend it into the outer corner. This is a really, really pretty shade. It's very kind of reflective, I guess you could call it. I don't see a very strong like duochrome shift or anything like that to it, but I don't think this is a duochrome. It might be a very slight kind of pink to blue duochrome, but it's looking really nice. I like it together with these colors. I think my only critique, I guess I would say, with this palette is I feel like a lot of the shimmers when swatched out looked kind of similar, and I feel like on the eyes they're also going to look kind of similar. So maybe like a little more variety in the shimmers would be nice, because I feel like I can't really put more than one of these on my eyes at the same time, because you saw in the first look that the two shimmers that I used look pretty much identical on the eyes, and I feel like some of these pinks and purples would probably do the same thing, but I do think this looks nice. I think for underneath my eye, I'm gonna take a little bit of, that would be really pretty. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna grab this shade. I'm not gonna spray this or anything. I just wanna have just a little bit under my eye, and these shimmers really don't need to be sprayed or have a sticky base to them. They're definitely the kind of formula that you could just use dry and it's going to look really nice still. So I'm just gonna put some of that. Yeah, I think that was a good choice. I think these colors go nicely together. I think this is all I'm going to do for the look, because like I said, I cannot be filming for too long because I still don't have a lot of battery. I didn't have time to wait for it to fully charge. So I'm just gonna quickly finish off with this look. So I just did a little bit of nude in my waterline and I put on some lashes. These are the baby lashes from Unicorn Cosmetics, and this is the final look. So to sum up my thoughts on this collection, oh, I forgot to use the blush today. The blush I really, really like. You obviously saw me use it in the first look. I think I put it back in my blush collection. I gotta pull that out again because that is a beautiful, beautiful blush. I think that they're sort of shimmery blushes, or how would I explain them? They're not super like dewy looking, and they're not like a blush topper. They're definitely like a blush. They're very pigmented, but I feel like those aren't quite as pigmented and hard to use as their matte blushes. I struggle a little bit with the matte ones just because they're so pigmented, but I really, really like the shimmery formula that they have. The palette I think is really, really nice. This I think is one of my favorite color stories from Lethal. I think I like this one more than the Night Flower one. I don't know, there's something about this color story that I feel like just jives with me a little bit more, and I think it's beautiful. And I think that the shimmers in here are really, really nice as well. I feel like they're stepping up their shimmer formula a lot lately with their latest palettes, and I think that they've come a long way from where they were. I really like their shimmer formula now, and I really like the mattes in this palette as well. I don't have any complaints with them. If you're unfamiliar with Lethal's mattes, they do have quite a bit of kick up. They're very powdery and kind of a dry formula, so if you don't like that, you might not like this, but I haven't had any problems with, you know, building or blending. They perform really well. They don't swatch the best, but on the eyes they perform really, really well. So I think this is one of my favorite Lethal palettes, to be honest, and I'm very happy that I got it, even though I got it kind of late. I still had a really good time playing with it, and I think that if this is a color story that you would like, I think that you would, you know, have a good time with this palette. The lip product also I really like, but like I said in the beginning, it is a matte liquid lipstick, and matte liquid lipsticks are just not my favorite, but I do think that the formula is definitely nice if you like it, and I can definitely see myself like using this again. So yeah, those are going to be my thoughts. I really like the looks that I did. Like, I think they both turn out very, very pretty, and I feel like with this palette, you can do a lot of pretty looks. You can do a lot of very simple looks as well, and I feel like that's kind of where I want to go with this palette, even though it's not really what I did maybe the first look, but I feel like just using like some of these more lighter mattes together with these lighter shimmers and kind of skipping the darker ones. Usually I prefer having like a dark outer corner, but I feel like this would make really, really nice, just like soft ethereal looks that would just be super easy to do and look very pretty. So I don't know, maybe I'll try to do that one of these days if I have time, which I probably will not, because I'm still in the middle of reviewing like what, 3 more palettes that I've kind of yet to go through. I feel like I'm always like starting something new before finishing something else. So I always have like 2 looks done with a palette. I still need to do my 3rd look, and then I get something else in and I start doing looks with that, and I don't finish. So I gotta start having like a better plan, because this doesn't seem to be working. Anyway, I think those are going to be my thoughts on this palette and this collection. Thank you, Lethal, for sending it over. Thank you to you guys for watching. If you want to see some more Lethal Cosmetics content, I will put my playlist up on the screen. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.